Hi there. It does really mean a lot that you click into these things on Mondays. I enjoy this time and I hope you do too. I was just thinking the other day what a difference a couple of years makes. In June of 2020, Ralph and I were in the process of getting our roof repaired and preparing to have our siding replaced after the damaging hailstorm that we had in April. Thankfully, Ralph had retired at the end of May, so he was able to handle all the insurance questions and make those phone calls and coordinate all the workmen that were coming to our house to restore things. We were only 3 months into the COVID shutdown, but with summertime around us, it felt a little bit easier to be outside and safer to be around the work people that were there to come and repair our home. The derecho was still an unknown thing that we hadn't even dreamed of dealing with, and little did we know that 2 years later, COVID would still be a thing. How easily we lose that perspective of time. I'm still finding it difficult at times to keep myself oriented as far as the day and the date go, because everything about these past 2 years has just seemed to run together. I sometimes really have to just stop and think whether certain events happened in 2020 in the midst of COVID shutdowns and quarantines, or did they happen in 2021 when we were kind of sort of back to something that was passing for normal? Do you deal with that time disruption too? God's chosen people who were brought out of Egypt and decades later settled in the Promised Land told and retold the story of their rescue from slavery by God's hand. Many times throughout Scripture, you can read their recounting of God's mercy and providence as He brought them out of Egypt, parted the Red Sea, and fed them with quail and manna during their desert sojourn. This story, which is part of the Passover observance, was told to their children, their children's children, and repeated often to tell others and remind themselves of the greatness of God and His abundant love and mercy as they lived into their inheritance as God's chosen people. Never did they struggle to recall the details of this event in the lives of their ancestors because it had been told to them and shared so many times. All of these things about what happened when they were brought to the land that God promised to Abraham. Not once did they try to struggle to recall and reorient themselves and wonder if they were remembering things correctly or had lost some of the details and circumstances along the way. All of the things surrounding this important part of their history were shared so many times. It was not only written on their minds, it was written on their hearts as well. In Deuteronomy 4, it says, "But take care and watch yourselves closely, so as neither to forget the things that your eyes have seen, nor to let them slip from your mind all the days of your life. Make them known to your children and your children's children." It matters yet today that we keep ourselves oriented in time and space, but ultimately we should strive to keep ourselves oriented in our faith and trust in God. By recounting our personal experiences with God's provision and goodness, the next generations will know and have heard about the greatness of the one true living God, who can part the waters, lead the people to freedom, and feed them daily for 40 years, not to mention all the wonderful ways in which He has loved, encouraged, supported, and guided all of us every step of our way. I pray all of these things will be shared for many, many generations to come. Have a great day. Bye.